Good day and welcome back to another kit build. So today's kit is going to be simple yet difficult, let's just say. So it's this here. I think it's just a ring oscillator, so it won't be anything complicated except for the fact that this one has some surface mount parts. So it could be a lot more work just to solder them on. But I'm up for the challenge, I think, and let's hope I don't drop any of the little things on the ground. So I think the logical part here would be to start with the surface mount parts, because the other ones will be way too big and in the way. That being said, a few of these parts, like this diode here, this is one of those MELF packages where it's actually a cylinder, so that could be a little difficult. So that goes there, that diode. Maybe I'll start a little bit easier, like with this transistor, if I can find it over here. I'll start with the transistor and then work my way to these multiple pin ICs. Then maybe we'll try the MELF. I think I'll put a piece of tack down just in case the MELF wants to roll away. So let's give this a shot. So since I'm starting with the transistor, I'm going to start by tinning the pad. I have much smaller solder today. I'm using, I don't really know what the diameter of this is. 0.3 millimeters. Now, I've used this one before, but the thing I don't like about this one specifically is that it's a rosin core, but there's not that much rosin flux inside, so it's not actually too good, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyways. Just because the stuff I usually use is a little big. I use this 0.8 millimeter stuff, and if you look at the 0.8 is already like bigger than the pad. So let's try to get this transistor out. Yeah, this is not starting well already. I'm like fumbling just to try to get the transistor out of the package. And I just flicked it onto the bench somewhere. At least I could see it. And here it is. Okay. So this is going to be difficult, considering I can't put my face right into it. I'm going to try to manipulate it with my left hand here. I think this is the only transistor in the kit, so I'm pretty sure it's the right one. Oh man, I don't know. To know how much of this struggling you guys want to see. I think I saved it. Let me take a look here. It's a bit crooked. I think I got that. It's sitting a little proud of the board, but I can reflow it. Not a big deal. Alright, let's see if I can heat up this side. Not even sure if I'm in shot anymore, but we will see shortly. That looks soldered to me, so that's good. Let's try with the multi-pin package here, CD4017, I believe. So this one here, pin 1 is up here. So I'm just going to put a little spot of solder down. Okay, I'm going to try to tack that in. This one's not so tiny. I can actually work with this one. I'm going to hold that down, heat up the pad. I think I got it. Let me take a closer look. Whoops, I'm going to try not to do that too much. It's a little off, needs to move up a bit. I think the problem is I'm fighting with my board to try to keep it still. So let's see if I can tack that down. So only have a couple moving things. Okay, you're going to heat that up. It should release. There we go. That looks good. There we go. That looks way better. It's, well, actually it's shifted over to the side. This isn't easy, but this is why we practice. See if we can get inside here. You see, not too much, not a lot of solder flowing. This solder doesn't really flow very well. There we go, I got it there. Okay, so the two corners are tacked. Now it's time to flow the rest in. Although I still need to find my groove and how to place all this stuff. Don't be too upset if you give this a try and it doesn't go so well. That's actually what these kits are for, they're practice. So you guys are just practicing along with me, and I'm not going to edit out my failures. If I don't do well, you guys will see it. Never be ashamed of your performance as long as you've learned something from it. This tip is massive, by the way. It's a chisel tip, which is good. I do like the chisel tips. I think I could stand to order some smaller ones though if I'm going to be doing surface mount like this. Okay, one more. I should have actually soldered this one before the transistor, but it's okay. I think I got it. Let me just inspect this whole side. Just one that I need to add solder to, and it's this guy right here, I think. Let's take a look. Yeah, that looks great to me. Okay, and now we can do the other side. It's a little bit more open. I have surface mount LEDs. I wonder if I should try to use surface mount LEDs instead of the red ones that I got with the kit. Just trying to get in with the corner of the iron there. There we go. That should be just good. Let me take a quick look at this. A bit much on the solder, but I think that'll work. In case you're wondering how big this whole scale is, here's a ruler. I don't know if you can see, but that's an inch there, so that's about 1.5 inches for the whole board. And in millimeters, it's about 4 centimeters, 40 millimeters across the whole board there. So the package we're just soldering here has about a 2 millimeter pin pitch, and it's about 10 mils across. Alright, so next we'll do the NE555P, the 555 timer. Ubiquitous, but I don't think I've ever soldered a 555 that was in this package size. So this will obviously be the clock for the CD 4017. Okay, actually I need to put a little bit of solder on the pad first. I'm going to go probably this corner here. It's very awkward doing this with my left hand, but I think that's the only way I can do it while keeping everything in shot. This is more about patience than skill, by the way. Just take your time, make sure that all flows correctly. No. I think that's in the right spot now. Gonna attack the opposite corner. Thankfully, parts today are quite resistant to overheating, because or else I'd be in trouble. Let's see if I can do this on the opposite side of me. Oh, got a blob of solder, that's no good. No. It's important to heat the pad and the component, or I should say the pad and the leg of the component. Ideally the component wouldn't get any heat, but can't really help that. And just inspect this a little closer. Yeah, again a bit heavy-fisted on the solder, but it will do the job. Alright, so let's do these outer resistors here. 10K here, 470K here, 470K there. So let's see, what do we get first? 4 7 and 4 zeros, that's 470K. Having trouble opening these as always. These are tiny. If I sneeze, they go flying. Come on out. They're far easier to open when you have the whole roll, because I usually leave the plastic attached. Yep. Okay, so I have my two resistors there. I'm going to, so 470 is here. Give that a splash of solder, and 470 is here. Give that a splash of solder. Alright. Now the real problem with these is you can potentially send them flying just by grabbing them with the tweezers if you squeeze too hard. They also end up upside down when they fall a lot of the times. Okay. So this is absolutely tiny. I'm glad they give me big pads, but at the same time, I can't see anything. No. I don't know what size these resistors are. Too small. That is soldered, but I want it flat. Okay, that is flat. I'm going to tack the other one in. I don't know if you guys are actually following this. I do have other lenses I could use on the camera, but I'm a little weary about using $1,000 lenses around rosin spluttering. Get this guy out of the way. That MILF package will be the worst. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. Okay, that's tacked, but I want it down flush. I think I got it. Just need to do the other side now. There we go. And do the other side here. Just inspect this. The soldering's not fantastic, but it should be good enough. So now we just need to move on to the 10K here. And that's the last surface mount resistor, even though they gave me two. So this one is 103, that's 10 ohms with 3 zeros. That's 10,000 ohms. Also absolutely tiny. I think on this ruler I have a size chart. Yeah, they look like, yeah, I don't know. Small. Regardless, small. think I dropped that on the board, but I can't see it. Oh, there it is. I think I'm going to ask Santa Claus for some magnifying lenses I can wear on my head. Because typically when I'm doing this, or when I used to do this, I should say, I do everything on camera now. When I used to do this, I used to have my head really like close to the work. That's not too bad. So I could see. But now I can't because the camera's in the way. That's okay, I can actually review my work afterwards. Just a little hard to pull off first try. I'm not an expert at this. And nor should you be if you're watching this video. Because if you're an expert, you'd probably see him doing some stuff wrong. Yep, that's what I would call good enough. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep that 10K resistor. Don't know why, they're absolutely cheap, but you just never know. Okay, now the one that scares me is this MILF package. Good tack going on there. I'm actually gonna stretch this out. I feel like it's gonna roll this way if it's gonna roll any direction. So there it is. Okay, now the band is on this side, so I think this needs to go the other way. So this way. Can check this with a multimeter after. Right now I'm just worried about it rolling away. That is sitting up off the board a little bit. Don't forget, with too much heat, these things can actually break or decap themselves or whatever. And I can't really see the band anymore. It's not going so well. Try to build up a little bit more on here. I think that's good. I'm going to solder the other side. Let me just inspect this. Looks good to me. I don't know if it's still good, but definitely looks good. Alright, so I think the hard part is over. Now we can start putting on the slightly smaller components, or slightly bigger components I should say. I'm not quite sure what order to do these in. And also, what gives with these? Are they plated? Oh, they're plated through holes, so I could actually put this in this way. I just need a little bit of tack to keep that down. Then we're going to put a bunch of parts as long as they don't interfere with each other. Okay, we got a capacitor 1 microfarad, that's 47 microfarads. This one is 1 microfarad. Okay, positive on this side, so this band here being negative goes the other side like this. Okay, that footprint isn't quite accurate, but that's okay. These kits, what they do is somebody designs these, and then these Chinese resellers copy them, positive on this side. There's the band for negative, so the negative goes across. They just copy them, and they use whatever parts are available or cheap at the time to populate the parts. So sometimes the voltage rating is higher because the parts they used, whatever was available, was cheaper. Now this is a bit hard. The K1, that's the switch, and I have to actually figure out what side the switch goes, because if you look, two sides here are connected to 1 and two sides are connected to ground. So I actually need to figure out which sides of the switch are connected to each other and which sides are switched. So I do have some test leads here. Probably won't see this, but you will hear it. The buzzer. I have these two leads. Don't know if you hear that. The beep when they touch. So I'm going to put one here and one here. So those are separated from each other. So the ones on the same side are separate from each other. So the ones pointing to each other are together. So see how these are pointing to each other? Those are connected, but these side by side are not. That means that if I look here, I have to put this sorta this way. This way. The legs aren't really lined up very well either. It's going to take a little finagling to get it in there. Once it's in there, it should be smooth sailing. There we go. That one doesn't need blue tack or white tack or whatever tack I'm using today, which is white. Okay, I can use my bigger solder, my preferred solder for this. There we go. That flows so much better. This is so much easier than the surface mount. Even if like this isn't even secured, it's just flying all over the place. It's so much easier than the surface mount components. Although I love surface mount components, I'm not one of those hardcore old school guys that really thinks that we should have never left through hole. I really love surface mount. They're just quite a bit harder for me to work with, that's all. I like the finished, how about this? I like the finished product of a surface mount kit much better than the finished product of a through hole kit. Alright, so that's some tack off of here. Take the tack off of here. That's looking pretty good. My my pin headers went a bit crooked. It's not that big of a deal. Use my snips. Oh, looks like I didn't solder this one too well. Don't know if you can tell that one there. This one right here. See, there's a little dry spot. There we go. That's better. Okay, so I think everything's done. The only thing left to do is to put the LEDs in and solder those. The only gotcha with the LEDs is that they are directional. So usually the longer leg on the LED depicts the positive. And also, I don't know if you can see inside there, there's like an anvil, and there's a smaller section. Well, the anvil is the negative. And if you look here, see the arrows pointing that way, so this is where the positive leg should go. And I think there's even a flat spot. There is a flat spot on these, but there is no flat spot on the diagram on here. Let me just make sure here. So the negative is this pin, and so yeah, so on the bottom here the long leg will go on the outside. Did I get that right? And negative is here. Nope. Negative is here. And that is connected down onto this plane. This plane is connected onto this one. Looks like the long leg needs to go on this side. Oh yeah, that would make sense, right? Yeah, because it flows from positive to negative. Okay, we're good. Yeah, the short leg goes on the little line there. We're good. We are good. From positive to negative, like that. Yeah, so that little line is actually the negative side. Very few components to this. I'm guessing that this will just do a circuit around, because this CD4017 is a shift register, I believe. The only thing I don't know is what the transistor is doing. That little guy in there. It's not driving the LED, because you would need one per LED. I don't really know. These are the timing capacitors and timing resistors. Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, now for this, I'm going to go around, solder one leg of each, then push them flat. Oops. Then push them flat and make sure they stay flat. I'm just going to do the outside leg by convention. It's not going to cooperate, won't it? You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to push them flat and bend the legs. Going to give us a bit less trouble, I think. They still won't be flat, but that's okay. You know, at this point, I'm not too concerned with perfection. This kit is for practice. Don't really need practice with LED straightness, because if you take your time, you can make it as straight as you want. Oops, that one the wrong way. There we go. That'll be a lot closer. And big blob. Put that on top of a big blob there. Won't hold it still, but it'll hold it close. Maybe I'll just fix them as I go. And that's it. So last thing left to do is to power this thing up and see how it works. So let me get set up for that and I'll bring you back. Alright, so I've got 5 volts into my probes here, and I did not set a current limit because I like to live dangerously. So actually the positive's on this side. I may want to try to keep the polarities correct. There's 5 volts. This is a little scary. Oh. There's ground. Some of these LEDs won't be visible. Okay, well anyways, let's see if this works. So nothing caught on fire. It's a good sign. Let's press this button and see what happens. Is it supposed to pick one? So it picks a random number, probably pseudo-random, but I can see that these 2 LEDs aren't working actually. Let me try it one more time. Yeah, 6 and 5 are not functioning. Okay, so let's see if there's anything obvious that is wrong with them. Well, I think the most obvious thing would be that there's no solder on them. These 2 legs here don't have any solder. Well, I'll be. You know, it's never a real kit build until you've messed something up. I thought I soldered them, but I guess I didn't. I guess I must have soldered the same leg twice. I wish this would have been purposeful, because that actually is quite entertaining when you mess up. But it was not. Come on. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. So everything exactly the same. Pop these 2 things as my legs. Okay, 1 and 2. So it seems to pick a number right when you start up. So right now we have 10. Oh yeah, they seem to all be working now. Number is 7. And there we go. So this is working. I didn't fry anything. I didn't short anything. I did mess up the one thing though. I did these 2 things didn't get soldered. Oh, that's one of our ones that wasn't working. That's 6. But yeah, this was a nice little kit build. And if you want your own, these are, I think that's the kit name right there, 4578. But these are just 40 CD 4017, 4057, 4017 random number kit. I think they were like $1 or maybe $2 on eBay. There's the surface mount and there's the through hole. I may do the through hole at another time just to see the big difference between them. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, and once again, thanks for watching.